talking about people getting ready to take action on things that they've been delaying on for many years. That could be a whole range of possibility. So, again, probably one of the parts of who I am and what's important to me as a spiritual man is not just to be a person who has intellectual knowledge, but to also be able to take that and integrate that to, as I think about it, a place of firsthand knowing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing what I'm saying there is the need to always be cautious, just as you made a reference to watching the news, what's going on in the newspapers. We also have to be cautious about what we're hearing, too. We also have to be discriminating and, stepping back and what is the source and, how many different ways could this manifest. And that's an important thing at this time, too. But, the good news, I think, about this period is that, there is this energy coming in these next several months that's, really going to give us some grounding, give us some support in taking action and moving forward. So that's good news, right?
Absolutely. I could use it because I'll tell you, this winter I have been like hibernating like a bear, and my energy has been extremely low. One of the people, the person that I had on last week, brought to my attention that the spring equinox is, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, on March 30th, and that ironically, since there are no accidents, it's precisely 7 years to the day that the Iraq War started. So she was reading some kind of significance into that particular date, being also the spring equinox. And I didn't used to feel the equinoxes until about 2 equinoxes ago. And then I got hit with a summer solstice. And since then I've been definitely feeling each one seemingly stronger, whatever that means. But it's interesting that in March we do have that spring solstice coming up. That's 7 years later than the Iraq War started on that day.
Amazing. Hard to believe that much time has gone by.
Yes. Yes.
But
yes,
also, I'm sure your astrological friends that you've had on before have also mentioned that, Mars, from an astrological standpoint, for all of us, is our warrior. It's the energy that gets us moving. And Mars has been retrograde, so nobody has any fire right now. We're all
I forgot about that.
Right.
And when does Mars go direct again? It's right at the beginning of March, I think. Let me see. I can tell you the exact day very quickly. It is the 10th of March. Oh, thank God.
Right.
Thank God, because the two things that affect me the most are Mercury retrograde and, of course, the moons, the full and the new moon. Now, I've thrown those into the hoop. And then Mars retrograde, I noticed a major shift when that happened, and I've just been kind of like a limp ragdoll since then. So I forgot all about this. I forgot all about the shift back to direct. So we have something to look forward to. We're not going to fall off the face of the earth. We're actually going to be able to pick up, and the strings to the little puppet will activate again.
Right, and we still have 3 weeks of that left. And the retrograde periods are, in their review times. This universe in which we live has such incredible patterns and rhythms, not only to support us, but to support our lives. And when Mercury retrograde comes, for an example, which happens 21 days, 3 times a year, not a good time to sign papers. It's about reviewing what we've been doing, rethinking and so, of course, a Mars retrograde, in this window, it's sort of a good time for us to be sitting back and saying, okay, well, right around the corner, I'm going to be like a jet, or, I'm going to be like a rocket, and I'm going to be ready to take off. What directions do I need to go in this period where I'm, feeling like a hibernating bear? This is my opportunity to look at, how am I using my physical warrior energy, and what ways do I want to move forward with that? So there's these rhythms that are there are we of course in the material world go, Mercury retrograde, I'm going to lose papers, and people are going to misunderstand what I have to say, and that does go on. But there's also the other side of it, which is if we're honoring the rhythm of the universe, because, essentially that's what spiritual practices are. They are, spiritual practices bring us ultimately into, uber harmony with the universal energy in which we live. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get back to that original energetic force.
I haven't heard it said any better in a long time, really.
I remember when I first started a serious meditation practice, which was when I was about 35. And that beginning of that practice, we're reconnecting with the energy that we've been living in and out of sorts in connection with, because of our material life, the hecticness, the demands. And I remember one night after meditating for about a year, I actually could feel the earth moving. And to me, that was a very important event in supporting sort of let's just for conversation purposes say the theoretical parts of the spiritual path. Well, here was some proof. Here was some first-hand experience of what these practices bring in our life. And of course, to then be in that, nice harmony with the earth plane, as you know, as a psychic man, immediately we have access to all of the energy of the universe that we need to bring the knowledge and information into our lives that we need. I mean, good grief, isn't part of the reason that we do our meditation and our psychic practices is because, we want to hear from those sources. I don't think I've ever met anyone who wouldn't love to hear directly from one of the great masters, exactly what their meaning was about something that they said, for an example, or what they were thinking.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Right. Those are, me, I get things like, somebody's going to call tomorrow and, tell me I need to do, have my car oiled or something. Who knows? I mean,
no great messages and neon signs from Sananda or Mother Mary or.
Well, I indirectly have had those contacts, so I can't at the same time not say that hasn't been a part of my experience. And interestingly enough, I'm finding in my work and travels more and more people who are making contact with the Master's energy.
Some claim, some go so far as to claim that many masters, and I'm sure that there are more masters than we are aware of, have incarnated in order to assist us and the earth with making a smooth shift into higher realms or higher consciousness. And
you know what? That's totally believable to me. And actually not even something that I need first-hand proof of.
Right. It makes sense because we know that they've walked the earth many times, and that there's always a core group of consciousness. According to the Hindus and the Tibetans, there's always a core group of so many that incarnate to hold the space for a higher level of consciousness and spirituality for the planet. So that's not difficult. And the dolphins, my goodness. I had a guest on the other day who was just, couldn't say enough wonderful things about the dolphins and their level of consciousness and how wise they are. So it's not always in the form that we think it might be.
Right. Exactly. One of the interesting experiences that I've had in my lifetime is, and primarily because of having lived in metropolitan New York, was to have met a lot of Haitian people. And here in having met those people, they actually became people who in some cases became really important teachers for me in my life because the Haitian people have such an incredible tradition of spirituality. Not just religion, but spirituality. And I was reading in the paper today.
Hello? Did we lose you, Stephen? Well, we'll have to get you back. Maybe. Okay, well, it looks like Stephen accidentally was cut off, and we're going to wait here for a moment and be in the moment together. And are you there?
Yes, I am.
That was special.
Yeah. I don't know what I was saying, that maybe I needed to be stopped.
I guess so. The universe wasn't ready for whatever you were going to say because you just clicked right off for about a few minutes, and
I did.
But it's kind of interesting because it's a different energy when you lose your guest and you're on the phone alone with all the listeners, and you can feel them, you know. And it's like, okay, what do I do now? Well, we'll just wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Trust the universe to provide, and, you know, it'll all work out. Don't worry, don't fret, and don't be frightened. So you're back. You're back, right?
Are you there? Oh my God.
Are you on a cell phone by any chance?
No, I'm not. I'll tell you what it is. I live by the military, you know?
Oh, them, yes. They'd like to play games, don't they?
And unfortunately,
Anyway,
my connection is just awful right now.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Well, we're not saying anything that is vital information to national security, I don't think. So I don't think
I know.
It's not intentional, I don't think.
I can barely hear you, Lance.
Okay. Well, do you want to just go on sharing about some of your experiences, and then I'll just let you talk for a little bit? Can you hear me now?
You know what? I can't. Like I said, I don't know what's happened to the phone.
Yeah, you can't hear me at all, or
it's like a really bad storm.
Oh, I can hear you just fine, and I'm guessing that the listeners probably can hear both of us.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you clear as a bell. So whatever you say is coming through on the show. So
okay.
You know, if you want to go on for a little while longer, we'll get pretty close to the end in a few minutes anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Let me, you know, and again, the static in my ear is gone now.
Oh, good.
Are you there?
Good.
Okay. I guess I'll get. And so anyway, what I was talking about before this happened was that you know, the Haitian people that I had met who were, you know, ultimately some of them had become very important teachers in my life. You know, they lived in a very strong, rich, spiritual, you know, philosophy and sense. The point that I was trying to make was that, you know, the way that we move through our world, how we anticipate or expect, or as you said earlier, again, that expectation issue, thinking about, you know, what we need as spiritual people and what we're looking for. Sometimes the very thing that we're looking for is right in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, I remember that being sort of, you were talking about the masters coming, the masters being present at this time on the planet, and, you know, being here to support this, you know, incredible transitional time. And, you know, too, I hold very strong to that belief that, you know, that support's there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, we know that we're coming to the end of so many different cosmic cycles, whether we believe that the Mayan calendar is part of that or not. You know, there are 26,000-year cycles now. We know this for a fact. 11,500-year cycles. There's a 4.5 billion-year cycle. There's a 26 million-year cycle. I mean, there's all kinds of different cycles. And so they're all kind of coming to an end right now during this time that we're in. So it just seems like a time when everybody is going